Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with that, I am not sure what happened to my, oh, there it is. Okay, I'm not sure where my bios all went to. But with that, our next guest is Dr. Oliver T. Reid, who was for the first time ever on my last summit, and I'm super excited to have him here again. He is absolutely amazing. I am going to read his bio. Dr. Oliver T. Reid is an international multi-best-selling and award-winning author, motivational speaker, and the founder and president of I Am a Solution Consulting Firm, LLC, a human development organization providing specialized relationship, business, consulting, counseling, and coaching services. Known as the writing coach, he uses cutting-edge writing coaching techniques to help entrepreneurs, speakers, and coaches while leading them to live to their highest potential. In addition, he is the creator of the revolutionary interactive card game for singles and couples, The Interview. Within, that's amazing. I think we need to talk a little more about that. Within the past 7 years, Dr. Reid has published 25 best-selling books, contributed to 12 anthologies, and has won multiple awards. Oh, that doesn't surprise me one bit. For his literary work, I'm surprised it's not like hundreds of multiple awards. For his literary work, I'll be all right. Including the 2016 IALA Distinction of Excellence Legendary Honoree and NAACP 2016-2017 Black Men Image Award. Dr. Oliver Reid has had the distinct honor of speaking to millions around the world and coaching individuals on 4 continents. Dr. Reid has been featured in HuffPost, Black Enterprise, ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, Roku TV, and other international media outlets. Well, CBS and CBC affiliates too, and Roku and Apple TV and Amazon TV is where my podcast goes, and so does the summit. So you can add that.
Nice.
And with that, I welcome and I give you the most amazing Dr. Oliver T. Reid, who I had the pleasure of meeting in Maryland last month, and his beautiful wife, who is not with us here right now, but she is absolutely amazing. Take it away, Dr. Reid.
Well, thank you, Marianne. Can you hear me on the other side?
I can.
Awesome, Marianne. Thank you. You're amazing, phenomenal yourself, and thank you for reading that bio. Not the most easiest. But I'm super excited today to be on again, and just phenomenal with talking about the rocky roads of success. And thank you for doing this consistently and being who you are. And you are a gem. And I want to publicly thank you just for what you do behind the scenes in my life. And I'm sure you're like that with everybody you meet. And so I thank you for this stage and this influence, and I could be on here forever talking. So my time, let me know how much time I have, and I want to make sure I honor that. 1 hour. Okay, cool.
A whole hour.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. So we have a lot to cover, and I want this to be kind of interactive today. I was super excited, and when I saw the title, Marianne, that you put out in the world, I thought about it. It is such an amazing topic to talk about the rocky road to success, because a lot of times we end up meeting people at the pinnacles. Most people meet people at the pinnacles of their success, especially in business. Maybe you had a mentor or somebody you met and you were just astounded by the work that they've done. And so you connected to them, or maybe you were trying to get ahead in business and you connected with him or her, but they don't see the back office or what that individual had to overcome to be great and successful. And I like that word, successful. To be full of success, you had to be empty with nothing first. We're not born a lot of times with success dripping off of us. Some of us may have been born into a successful family, but I realized that you could be born into a successful family, Marianne, and everybody watching, and not be successful. You could stand beside of a millionaire and not be rich.
So true.
I do it all the time, right? There's people in my circle who are light years ahead of me. They have more stuff than me, and me just being beside of them doesn't make me who they are. And so I want to talk about this road of success, and I want you to write this down. What if I told you today that your success was your failure in reverse? Now that's going to be mind-blowing. You mean to tell me that the bad business deal, the loan that didn't go through, the default, the divorce, the miscarriage in business, the miscarriage in life, when I failed out of school, attributes to success? And I used to be thrown and blown by this because I said to myself, how can all things work together for good? I know we may be spiritual faith-based, but at the end of the day, that sounds like rubbish. You mean to tell me that the abuse from my past is catapulting me into my future? You mean to tell me that the person that left me in business, I don't know if you're out there, if you can put a 1 in the chat or put a 1 on social media, if you have ever been left out or maybe stood up by a business partner. I went through something tragic in 2023. I thought it was breaking me, Marianne. I thought that what I went through in my business and in my life, there was a breakup. And so one of the things I want to talk about here today, and I'm going to be hitting you with just gems. I believe if you could grab these gems, they're going to really help you. Because every successful level is still the bottom of the next level. You may be successful making 6 figures, but somebody's already successful making 10. And if you're not careful to celebrate or be full of success and a mindset, you will begin to implode and think that your 6 figures isn't as valuable as somebody making 7. Write this down. This is so crazy,
Totally
but it's so true.
agree. This is the
Do you
best.
agree with that?
I totally agree.
It is so great because I'm sure we run in circles and you see people who are on fire, excited until they look into someone else's life.
Yeah.
Until they realize, hey, Dr. Reid is making $5,000 a speaking engagement and I'm only making $1,000. I was happy with my itinerary, but I started to look around. I started to get off focus. I started to not be successful, but be success driven. Woo! Not being full of success. What are you saying? Some of us are success driven, which means that you only get fueled by the next level of perceived. Look at this: success, perception, perception, perception. Write that down. Don't die. My first quote is don't die changing lanes. I'm going to say that. Don't die changing lanes. And it's phenomenal, Marianne, as I travel the world and travel the country. A lot of times I'm on highways and I'm delayed because somebody felt like they were late and decided to go around the car in front of them because they were late to an appointment. They are success driven. They wasn't taking their time. They didn't realize that, hey, maybe a couple minutes late wouldn't stop the victory of my speech or the victory of this business deal or getting to the office on time. And they run around that car. And before they know it, they go into incoming traffic. And now you've not only hurt yourself, you hurt somebody else, and then you cause a delay. Let me unpack that. Some of us, if we're not careful, we'll try to run around thinking that we're late. My point number 2, and I'm going to skip around, is that you are not late. Say that with me. You are not late. Don't rush your life. You are not late. Don't rush your life. And don't rush your success. Don't rush your success. Be ecstatic on the rocky road of just getting 1 lead every month instead of trying to be someone who gets 10 leads a day. And if you're not comfortable or full of success with celebrating that one moment or that one pinnacle of your success, you'll say, I'm late, and then I need to skip over, and I need to take over around this other transaction. And what ends up happening, you go around the traffic of your life. You're not embodying the success. You're not being successful or embracing success. So you go around, and next thing you know, you collide with oncoming traffic, incoming traffic, things that distract you. I know so many phenomenal business leaders that if they ever embrace the power of who they are, the power of what God has created them to be, the wherewithal, the tact, the tenacity, the edge, I like to say the secret sauce they possess, when they start to own their sauce and walk in their greatness, they will become not only successful, hallelujah, but they won't be success driven. One thing about being success driven is when you don't feel that you're successful, you get into a depressed state. I remember my first book. I've written 50 books and helped people around the continent and the world write books. But my first book, Marianne, it was so horrible. I remember sitting there and I'm watching Amazon and I'm feeling sick to my stomach because I hit the bestsellers list. I wasn't even on the page. I wasn't even on a million. I don't even think I was a million. I don't know what I was. I was looking at that page and I'm sitting there like, I freaking suck. Like, I suck. All of my friends, I called all my friends, did you buy it? And my 4 or 5 friends said they bought it. And I'm like, show me proof. Show me proof that you bought my book, because my book stinking, it's not even on the Richter scale. It's not there. And I felt so unsuccessful. Some of us, because we are stats driven. This is a rocky road.
It's true.
Write this point down. Here's another jewel. A rocky road is still a road. A rocky road is still a road. Some of us are addicted to smooth roads and elegant highways and bridges and tolls and all of this beautiful scenery. But God may allow your business to flourish, your life to flourish in a place of brokenness, in a place of rocks, in a place of jagged edges. And I think some of the jagged edges in my life, and I know I'm speaking to somebody across this screen, has been because the rocky edges have sharpened me and have sharpened you. That's why you go after business the way you do. That's why nobody can be who you are. That's why nobody can articulate the way you do. That's why nobody can bake a cake the way you do. That's why nobody can sell stocks the way you do, because you were processed out of rough edges, rough edges. So I want us to understand this really, really quickly. Do not die changing lanes, and don't become success driven. We all want success. But what if I told you embody success? What if I told you that what you're chasing, you already are? This is another point. Now, this is going to be deep, and I know I'm going to mess with somebody's philosophy, and I know I probably may have a DM or two to really wrap your mind around this, but I want to break this point home. Write this down if you can. Listen to this. This is something that God put in my heart years ago, and it's helped me, Marianne, to really navigate success in life, because you bring yourself everywhere you go. You bring yourself to work, to family, to friends, to spouses. You bring yourself everywhere you go. But check this quote out. You, write this down. I will never become more than we already are. Ooh, woo. I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna give applause for that comment. It's gonna take a while to think about it, but I'm gonna give it to you again. You'll never become who you already are. Say it one more time. You will never become greater than you already are. All right, unpack that, Dr. Reid. Let me break this down. When a man or woman is born, they have everything inside of them to reproduce. Ooh, good gracious, scientifically. Can I tell you that Your baby, the little girl, has everything inside of her to reproduce, but she will not produce until it's time. Woo, good gracious. When it's time, she doesn't get a new body. He doesn't get a new body. He's already created to reproduce, but the timing and maturation of a thing determines, look at this, the time and process. Now that is deep. So what do you mean? Maybe it's not your time doesn't mean that you're not great. Because the first business deal that you birthed did not bring you 7 figures, doesn't mean you throw out the blueprint. Is it possible that it's just not your time, but when it's your time, you don't become something different? I tell people now, I'm a multi-millionaire now. What do you mean? If you go to my bank account, they will laugh at you and say, no, that's not the reality at all, right? But I realized that when awareness comes to my gift, write this down, when awareness comes to my gift, when awareness, some of us are chasing money, but you don't need money, you need awareness. You need somebody to recognize who you are, bring you into a room so that you can be saucy and show who you really are created to solve, what you really are created to solve, who you really are unlocked. Let me tell you, everybody that's great had an opportunity, a door to open for them. Everybody that you admire had an opportunity of awareness. Every great coach, every great speaker, every great dad, every great mom had to be born. Look at this, had to be born, go through a process, and then somebody said, look at Marianne, she's doing a great job with her form. I want to be on there and I will invest to be on there. Look at this, but guess what? You will never become anything greater than you already are. So let me break it down this way. And women, you're going to love me for this. I'm going to ask you a question. Is a woman more pregnant the first night as she is the 9th month? Somebody write that question in the chat. That's a good question. When a woman is pregnant, she is, well, listen to this. She conception that first night. Is she more pregnant the first night than she is the 9th month? Somebody put that answer. Who thinks that she's more pregnant the first night than she is the 9th month? It would appear at the 9th month because she is showing that she is more pregnant. But she actually conceives life day 1. Woo. And it may be rocky for 9 months. She gets up, she starts feeling morning sickness, but nothing's there. And she'll even tell her husband, she'll even tell her friends, I feel like I'm pregnant. Oh, girl, you don't even look pregnant. What do you mean? Nothing's going on. She's like, no, something in the inside of me has changed. I come to talk to somebody on the other side of the video. Something in the inside of you started to change the moment God gave you an idea. The moment God gave you ideas, he knew you could carry it. And people around you are saying, they're laughing, man, look at this small business, man, look at this small summit, man, look at this guy talking, look at this. But they don't know we are pregnant with a purpose, even though we're on a rocky road. See, a rocky road of success does not negate the potential. I'll say it one more time. You will never become more than you already are. That's why when people get wealthy, sometimes what inside of them will come out. If you were nasty before money, you're going to be even nastier once you get it. Let's be honest. If you were nice, money is not going to change your niceness. You're going to probably be even nicer. You're probably going to do more philanthropy work. You're probably going to bless more people. But if you were success driven and all you were thinking about was being successful and not being full of success and not being impactful and not being able to embrace who you really are, money will change you, because when you have it, you'll feel successful. When you don't have it, you won't. But one thing about a pregnant woman is even though she's not showing, she can feel change is in the inside of her. What I love about this, and women, you'll love this, and I know this by being a husband and being a man. I don't know who I'm talking to. You can put a 1 in the chat if I'm talking to you on this call. When it's time for a pregnant woman to give birth, Marianne, it doesn't matter if she's on a rocky road. It doesn't matter if she's in a car or Uber. It doesn't matter if she's on a plane.
It's time.
It's time. Right, Marianne? When it's time, it's time. You can say, hey, wait a minute. I'm watching the game, fellas. I got something else to do. When it's time for that baby to be born, check this out, write this down. Anywhere that woman is becomes a delivery room. Let me let that just marinate. Anywhere she is, if she's in a car, that car just became a delivery room. If she's at her job, it just became a delivery room. Do you know babies can be born without the doctor? Do you know that babies can be born without a nurse? Do you know that babies can be born outside of the hospital? What am I saying? Things inside of you, when it's time for it to come out, it will come out. You do not have to skip the line. Write this down. I don't need to rush my success. I need to embrace it. The hardest thing for us to do as entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches, people who are movers and shakers in this circle, if you're around in with Marianne, you are a mover and you are a shaker. One of the things that is hard for us to realize is that we're successful already. I can't tell how many people I give a comment to and they can't embrace it. It was very hard for me to hear my bio and Marianne to say all those things about me because I've been broken on a rocky road, right? And maybe sometimes my account doesn't match all the accolades and my exposure and my itinerary doesn't match the accolades. And some of you are saying, hey, am I really faking it till I make it? Or am I really who I am predestined to be? But one of the things it's so surprising as I travel the world and I give people compliments, I always pour out affirmation and honor on people because I understand that honor is the only currency you cannot give yourself. Did y'all catch that? You cannot pay and honor yourself. You can't pay yourself with honor. I don't care how rich you are. It always takes another person to say, hey, Marianne is great. Hey, Matt is amazing. Angela's phenomenal. Michelle Lee, listen, did you see her profile? She has a power. When I look at Michelle's profile, I look at somebody like she has arrived. She's not getting on the bus or the plane. She is arrived just by her persona. I don't know her. We never had a conversation, I don't believe. But looking at her aura and her persona means I need to find out. I mean, I'm looking at Matt. Matt is Gillette. It's a picture of Gillette on his photo, right? He is the man. Right? Angela, phenomenal. Background, amazing, warm. I can just feel it radiating. Right? We pay currency. What did I just do? I gave currency to them that they can, even if they said it themselves, it would sound like they were arrogant. Honor. People is so important. What am I saying? When I go around the world and I say to people, you look nice, the first thing they say, Marianne, oh, no, it's okay. No, my business is okay. I'm doing okay. Yeah, you just raised $6 million. We salute you. I could have raised 7. I mean, last year we did about 9.5. I guess because of the pandemic, we brought celebrate. Excuse me, I'm in a place where I'm like, can you just celebrate and embrace the power of who you are? It is very hard as human beings, and there's no judgment intended. We are conditioned to be success-driven instead of embracing success. So I want you to say this with me again. I am not late. I will not rush my life. Lay your hands on yourself. I know you can't see you over the screen, but I want you to say this in affirmation. I am not late. I don't need to rush. I remember going through a pregnancy with my first child, and every time we would go to the doctor, she felt like it was delivery time. And so it got to the point where I automatically said, you know what? I'm going to go through the motions because I already know I'm going to get the bag. and I'm going to pack it. We're going to go to the hospital, only for them to say, this is not really the deal. And one day, an old lady at the hospital, she looked over and she said to her, she said, when it's time, you'll know. Can I say that again? When it's time, everybody watching, you'll know. It's not that you're not great. Maybe you're going through a rocky road to polish who you are. Maybe it's just not the 9th month for you. Maybe it's not the final trimester. And maybe you're not on the magazine now. And maybe you can't step and show your portfolio in the board meeting now because you don't have that many assets on paper, but you got an idea that's kicking and screaming in you. And I want to tell you on Marianne Padjan's platform today that you didn't just stumble to hear this, that there's greatness and there's power in you. And when it's time for you to deliver, no matter where you are, they will find you. Can I say this to you? And can you put this in the chat? I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one. Now, I want to share something with you really quick, and I'm going to go to some powerful tools that I want to share in this segment. So first, don't die changing lanes. Don't try to get around to be successful. Don't try to connive. Don't try to press. Don't try to get in with who's who. Understand that you are saucy, that you have a secret blend, a personality, a smile, a tenacity. Listen, Marianne's presence is felt when she walks into the room without her saying anything. I was at the CLA summit and I couldn't keep my eyes off of her because of her heart. Everybody that got up, she was in tune. She was able to receive. She wasn't walking around. She wasn't having engaged conversation. She was focused to support every person that hit that stage. And I said to myself, she is a leader. When I go into organizations, I'm very trained. I don't go in and look at your revenue and your bottom line as a consultant. That's not what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on how your employees respond to you. How do people, what do they say when you leave the room? That's success. We may not have a bunch of money, but I tell you what, Oliver cares about his staff. Oliver does what he says, and he means what he says, and that is success. Success is not the bottom line. Oh, well, Oliver makes millions, but he doesn't care about anybody. We don't have a day off. Right? We can't depend on him to do anything he says he's going to do. That's not being successful. That's being success driven. Anybody know somebody, you can raise your hand and put a heart or like, you know somebody that nobody likes them, but they are success driven. Nobody can sell like them, but nobody likes them. Right? You know how it is. When they walk in the room, everybody gets quiet, like the air comes out of the room. Because we know that that person is a shark. We got to be careful what we name ourselves. Point. That's another point. Write it down. Be careful what you let people label you. I don't want people calling me a beast. Do you know what the definition of a beast is? If we're not careful, we'll name ourselves. He's a shark. He's a tycoon. He's a beast. She's a beast. I don't want to be a beast. I want people to mourn me when I'm gone because I made an impact. I made an impact, that I was a leader, that I was a servant, that I was successful, full of success, and I helped people over the bridge. I like what Marcus Aurelius says. Write this down. Powerful quote about rocks. Rocks come from many different places. Lava, they're parts of the earth, pieces of mountains. But I want to break this down. Marcus Aurelius says this. He says, to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. Close your eyes while I read this. This is powerful. Please. To be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. I want you to close your eyes in this moment. And I want you to see yourself as a rock. I know people have stepped on you. I know people have took your kindness for weakness, and they have just did all types of things in business. Let's just talk about business and life in general. But I want you, look at this, to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over you. Think about it one more time. Be like that rock. Go to that place. If you've been to the beach, if you've been by the water, you see that rock and that water, to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. You are that rock. Look at this. It stands unmoved. You stand unmoved. And the raging of the sea falls still around it. I'll read it again. You stand unmoved. It stands unmoved. And the raging of the sea falls still around it. Now, I want you to open your eyes. I hope you can visualize that. And I want to challenge you, like Mark Aurelius, to say, be like that rock. When you think about rocky roads of success, people who have been through rocky roads of success, you can see it in their aura and persona. They're not easily moved. Bill Gates was told that he would never do what he did. Steve Jobs was told you'll never put 1,000 songs on a device. Colonel Sanders was told he would never sell chicken at a fast food restaurant. Excuse me. So many people were told that they would not be successful on that rocky road. But I want to tell you today that when it's your time, it is your time. When it's your time to shine, you don't have to worry about a lamp. You don't have to die changing lanes. Let me say it again. Don't die changing lanes. 3, look at this. We talked about it earlier. You'll never become who you already are. Embrace who you already are. And I want to tell you 4 is hold on. Write this down, to what's left. Hold on to what's left. What I mean by that is a lot of times we may fall in life and fall in business on this rocky road. The waves of adversity are crashing. Can somebody be real in the chat and say, you got some waves right now? You guys, I know you see my profile. I know you understand that I'm good in business. I know I'm good in business, but there's some waves that's crashing around me even now. Some waves of adversity, some waves that I don't know if I'm going to make it through quarter 2 and quarter 3. I don't know if I'm going to be able to be as successful in what I've done before. I want to tell you, hold on to what's left. And then I want you to write this down. Stop chasing stats. Stop chasing stats. That is one of the biggest things that I realized. When you start to start chasing stats, chase where you've been. Stop chasing where you've been. Stop chasing what you've done. Stop chasing 2023. Stop chasing 1994. Stop chasing 1975. Quit chasing your daddy's dreams and your mom's dreams and the people around your circle's dreams. And if you are able to do that, you'll be able to be like that rock. That rock, while the waves are crashing, you are stable, right? Want to put this quote in your ear. The pinnacle, write this down. This is how we begin to maintain a level of success, begin to embrace success. It is this part that is so powerful. I had to realize this, Marianne, that the pinnacle of my last level was still the basement of my new one. Ooh, that's good. I like to say something when something's good. I like to say that's yummy. That's yummy. Listen, let me say that again. The pinnacle of your last level, which means you're the highest level you can achieve, is still the floor or the basement of the next one.
Right.
Stay hungry, guys. Stay hungry on this rocky road, because as you move, you will get greater and greater and greater things. I know that the people that are watching this, the people that are coming to speak today, are people that can pour into your life. So you want to make sure that you don't get satisfied, though, with the last level. Don't fall in love with the last level of success. See, because that will break your heart. Because all of us can go to a time in our lives where we were rocking and rolling, like we were shaking. Whatever we touched started to go. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm not even trying to sell, and I made $2,000 in one day. I made 16 grand in a week. If you fall in love with that season, when you get to those rocky roads, you're going to be like, I've lost it. I'm throwing in the towel. I quit. I'm firing myself. I'm giving myself an eviction notice. I'm jumping into business. Can I give you a powerful tool about perception? It's a story that I love to tell. There was an old lady who lived in the neighborhood, and she was a busybody. Anybody know any neighbors on your street? The busybody, they know who goes in, they know who go out, they know when you lost your job, they can see your trash can turned the wrong way. They can tell when you painted the inside of your basement. They know, right? Everybody has his neighbor. Well, this chick, this lady was that lady. She was that person. She was that person. So she would go out every day and she would look out her neighbor's yard, and she would look out of her window, and she would look at her neighbor's yard, Matt, and she would look at her neighbor's yard, Angela, and she would look at her neighbor's yard, Michelle, and she would be like, oh my goodness, that house so horrible. When is Miss So-and-so, Miss Betty, when is she going to get her house in order? I mean, she's messing up the neighborhood. She would go in day out. She would look out her window and see the same thing, and she would get so disturbed. Well, one day she decided to go out. She was going to the grocery store. She walked out and she looked across the street and she saw Miss Betty's house. Saw Miss Betty's house and she said, hey, wow, okay, Miss Betty, you're doing your thing. Thank you for cleaning your house today. All right. I don't have to call the HOA. Great. This is amazing. Oh my God, this is awesome. So she went back in the house and she unloaded her grocery, went back in. A couple of days later, she goes back out, look out of her window again, Marianne. She looks out her window again and said, oh my God, Miss Betty, not again. How is your house so dirty and filthy again? Oh my goodness, I thought you just cleaned it. So she runs out of her house in her slippers and her bonnet, and she looks across the street and she said, hold on, Miss Betty's house is still clean. She goes back in, looks out her window, and then it's dirty again. What she didn't realize is that she was looking out of a dirty window. She was so focused, so success-driven, that she didn't do introspect on her own window. Let that sink in. There's sometimes our perception messes us up. We're so busy looking at what success should look like in somebody else's yard that we haven't done self-maintenance on our own window. That's good. That's yummy. Because when we're able to say, hey, I embrace my success, but I got to make sure that my filters are clean. I got to make sure that what I'm taking into my life and what people are calling me, and I got to watch what I'm saying yes to. Who am I talking to? Someone you've been saying yes and you've been demoting yourself. You've been saying yes and demoting yourself because at the end of the day, look at this, you have devalued your success because you want to be successful. What am I saying? You devalue your success and who you are. Me being successful is being around somebody that looks successful, but you don't even know what they've been through. You don't even know what they stand for. You don't even know if your vision is aligned. You don't even know listen, sometimes we want to be with people that are not even on our level. They're not even on our level. They have the money and the stuff, but that's just stuff. They don't have integrity. And God has given you integrity and made you a solution and made you all of these things. You want to be able to clean your filters. So write this down. I am very careful, Marianne, what I say yes to. People see me busy and around the world, around the country, but they don't know how many things I've said no to that will be lucrative. Oh, that's good. Because they're paying you doesn't mean you're supposed to be on that platform. Because they're giving you an opportunity and give you a job doesn't mean you're supposed to work for them. Every client, I learned this the hard way. I used to always try to take on clients. Oh man, give me a client, they pay that money. Oh my goodness, let's go, let's rock and roll. So I got the charge back. Got a chargeback from people who had 90% of my program finished. I can see it on my ClickFunnels. I can see it in my group. You've taken 90% of my course, and they will come back and charge back. I didn't get anything out of your service. But what happened, Marianne, I ignored that small voice in the beginning that said, don't do it. Don't do it. You've given them like 10 payment options. They're not your client. You tried to give them 10 ways to pay you because you're trying to get that next client, because you're trying to be successful. You're trying to get to that next client. And you know from the beginning, because that little thing in your gut, you know how it is, that small voice in your gut, in your mind saying, no, pass up this opportunity. But you're like, oh, I'm about 5 people away from my destiny and my quarter goal. If I make 5 more sales, I am going to be there. She's number 3. And you take her. And 5 months later, this is a true story, I get a chargeback for my entire program fee. And then God would say to me, son, are you chasing success? Are you driven by success? Or are you embracing success? And can I say something really strong? And I know you may not like me when I say this, but it's true. Sometimes we have to pay the penalty tax because we don't know who we are. I'm going to drop that mic right there. We pay penalty taxes when we don't see the value of what we saw. You've been through a rocky road. You've understood that you had to do this and invest in professional development, and you had to keep on ticking and take a licking. And then now you get to this place, and now people want your program, and you're just like, here, take it. Take it, you know. I'll discount it and discount it. There's no more discounts. It's almost like you discounted it to the point where it's like, where to work at? I mean, I used to think that discounts would, look at this, in my success, I thought if I discounted it low enough, that people would buy it and people would be committed to it. That people would really see that I'm really a good person and I really want them to work with me. But I realized that you're not called to everyone. We're not called to everyone in business and life. There is places where God will have you be a blessing, give your course away, give your product away, bless people. But you have to be very, very strategic in how you do it. Now, I want to get to a close in a minute, but I want to talk about a guy in the Bible. His name was Nehemiah. And Nehemiah was really a great guy. I like the principles. So if you ever read this story, it's really, really powerful. I have a book about these principles, about 9 keys to keeping a vision fresh. So I want to talk to visionaries. If you're a visionary, put a 1, 2 in the chat. Put 1, 2. I'm 1, 2. I am a visionary. I am a mover and shaker. For the next couple of minutes, I want to really dissect something really, really quick here. So I want you, if you're a mover and shaker, put a 1, 2. I see it popping up. 1, 2 in the chat. I'm going to give you several of these principles, not all 9, but the book is called 9 Keys to Keeping a Vision Fresh, right? 9 keys, because freshness is so powerful. I love what Marianne is doing with this Rocky Road to Success, because I want to keep your vision fresh. Because sometimes we think opposition is abandonment. Write that down. Sometimes we think opposition or crisis is the end. We think that because we're going through a challenge that it's over. I want to speak life to business owners. I want to speak life to visionaries. I want to speak life to men and women on this call. Because you're going through a crisis does not mean that it's the end. Because people have left you in business, that's normal. I had to realize that people will come and go, people that work with me, people that were virtual administrators, people who worked as ghostwriters with me, people who do it. There's going to come a time where they'll put in their notice. Doesn't mean I'm doing anything wrong. That means that I'm growing in business and I'm giving an opportunity for people to grow. So to tell you a story about Nehemiah, I'm going to give you a couple of principles. These are 9 keys, but I'm going to give you probably 3 or 4 keys. But Nehemiah, name means builder, but what I wanted to talk about is that Nehemiah, back in the day, I'll make it modern, that he was a security guard for the king, or the security guard for the president. So he was this cool guy that had a cool job, probably got paid pretty good, but it didn't have benefits. What I mean by that is that Nehemiah was a security guard that would take the bullet for the president, like the Secret Service. So basically, yeah, he got paid good, but hey, if something went wrong, there was no bad days of work. Excuse me. There was no bad days of work. It was just the end. So his job was to taste the wine of the king that nobody poured. To say you got to take your job seriously. You had to be a special kind of dude to be a cupbearer. That's what they call him. He would taste the food to make sure that nobody would try to poison the king. And if they were going to poison the king, Nehemiah was gone first. All right. So let's get that straight. He was out. So his job was like, hey, you got paid good. You got to chill out with royalty. But if something goes wrong, hey, well, thank you for doing your job. But Nehemiah had a burden for his people. Nehemiah's burden was his people was enslaved. And think about it from a standpoint of you having a burden for whatever your heart goal is. I know when I see people who've experienced homelessness, Marianne, it bothers me because I remember being 5 in a car with my mom with no place to stay. I remember when I was older as an adult after 9/11 and lost my job and had to stay in my car with my children, what homelessness meant. So when I see people and worked and as a CEO, people would ask me, why did I do the work I did? And I would tell them I had a different burden because it wasn't just work for me. Because I could remember when I was homeless. And maybe you, if we flip this video around, you could tell me a story while you're passionate about certain things. Well, Nehemiah was passionate about his people. He was like, I got this good job. I'm working with the king, but guess what? I'm on this rocky road of success, but guess what? My people in my town, the city has been destroyed, and the gates of the city, which back in the day, the gates was like security. So think about, there was no security in my city. And he said, hey, listen, I had a burden. And Nehemiah began to cry and weep. Now, one of the things I want to share with you that's so profound on this line, and this is my prayer as I give you this part here, these next couple of points. I want you to get back to the burden of what God called you to do in your business. Some of us will begin to adjust our mission and our vision based on what is going on around us. Go back to what Mark Aurelius said in that quote. I want you to be like the rock, that when the waves and things come, you don't change to fit what's hot. We do it. Oh, it's hot. Let me go sell real estate. Oh, real estate drives up. Okay, let me go sell chicken. Chicken's hot. Okay, let me go be a restaurant. Okay, that don't work. Let me sell dresses. Okay, let me go back to Mary Kay. Okay, nothing wrong with Mary Kay. Let me go over here. Next thing you know, you're not being who you are, the rock. Back to Nehemiah. Nehemiah says he goes to his job, and it's different from today. Imagine, but it's kind of similar. You were working with the president of the United States, president of a country, and you got that job that Nehemiah has to work closely with him. And all of a sudden, Nehemiah looks like he's not well. And imagine the king is going to look at him like, hold on, brother, you don't look right. You're supposed to be protecting me. I got to make sure. And he says to Nehemiah, what's wrong? And Nehemiah says, I have this burden. I have this thing that's bothering me. Now, why am I saying this to people on this line? When you have something that bothers you, you solve it. Some of you went into business. If you're like me, I didn't just go into business because I wanted to. I went into business because I wanted to solve a problem. It was something that was bothering me. And some of us lose our fuel because we're not doing what's our burden or our mission that we're supposed to do. So Nehemiah said, hey, the king said, okay, well, what's going on? What do you need? And Nehemiah said, I need help and resources. Can I say this to you? The help and resources will always come with what you're passionate about. I cannot lie. Whenever I'm passionate in the vision that God has given me in business and in my life, people will come. It may be hard, but somebody will say, hey, I want to come and support you. It's only when I'm outside of what I'm supposed to be doing that it really gets tough. When I stay in my burden, God will supply. Now I'm going to give you principles. One of the things, first principle that I want to give you in keeping your vision fresh is go back to your burden. Number one, go back to your burden. Why did you go into business in the first place? Do a gut check. Why are you waking up at 5 o'clock? What are you created to solve? What is God giving you that you're passionate about? What is your secret sauce? What I mean by that, who do you solve? What do you solve? Right? A in that sauce, that word S is the first, that letter S is what you solve. That word A is audience, or the letter A is audience. That letter C is creativity, and that last E is how you execute. So that's your sauce. Don't have time to go over all that. I'll go back again. S is your solution. Who do you solve? You got to make sure you're talking to the right audience. All right. So if whatever you're solving has to be said to the right audience, that's A. U is your uniqueness. That's what you do like nobody else. C is the creativity. Now you create the system of your uniqueness. So for example, if you got great sales skills, then you create a product that you can sell. All right. So then you move to that, and then the execution. All right. So that's that sauce. All right. We'll talk about that on another time. But then we talked about there must be a burden. What is your burden? Right. Second thing Nehemiah faces when he gets provision that I have to share with you guys is that people wanted to meet him in a valley of oh no. So write this word down. O-N-O. The valley of oh no. Dr. Reid, what are you saying? This is going to be good. Oh man, this is good. Oh no. They wanted Nehemiah to justify why he was building when he didn't go to school for it. You're not an architect, buddy. You're a security guard. Some of you been labeled. How can you go and do this business? You're not a Fortune 500 company, buddy. You didn't go to school. You didn't go to Harvard. You didn't go to IT. You didn't go. What I like about it, they wanted to meet Nehemiah. Literally, if you look at that word in the Bible, it was a valley called Oh No, O-N-O. And I want you to put this point down really, really quickly. And I want you to say this with me. Say oh no. Say no to oh no. That's the point. Say no to oh no. What's oh no? Oh no is that low place that people want you to go down to justify who you really are. Well, hey, Oliver, if you're really a writing coach, how many New York bestsellers have you sold? Well, Marianne, if you're this coach, how many vitamins have you sold and how much money have you made? You know how we all get in the room. And what was your profit margin in 1919? And we don't have time to deal with that. When Nehemiah said, no, I cannot come down to a lower place of thinking. Look at this. He said, if I come down to, oh no, then the work will stop. Some of you have been trying to explain how you do your business so much that you stop working. I've been guilty of it. You've been answering the phone so much, anybody been like me, that it's almost like, oh, I'm off my game. I've been talking to people about what I do so much that I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like, I really don't know what I'm doing. I've been explaining my mission statement so much and trying to hustle so much. So Nehemiah realized something. He said, I have to say no to oh no. That's point number 2. To keep your vision fresh, you have to say no to oh no, right? Third, this is a powerful point. I got one more after this. The third thing that I want you to remember today and keeping your vision fresh is this. Do not fret. Write this down. Do not fret when the attack becomes personal. Woo! Let me let that marinate. That is, anybody been to a barbecue? I want that to sit in this pit of your mind. This is what destroys visionaries. They were doing well, Marianne, till people started to attack their personal character. Let me tell you, your personal character will be attacked. Listen, when you begin to move forward. Your personal attack, everybody liked you at 6 figures, but they will hate you at 7. And the people that liked you at 7 gonna really hate you at 8. Right? And they'll start saying, well, Marianne is doing this summit because she wants to make money. And she's doing this, Oliver's doing this coaching because he wants to make money. And yes, he's having all this money, but does he really care about people? And if you're not careful, you'll be down in the valley of oh no, talking people, no, I'm not that person. I'm this person, and this is my mission, and da 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 da, and oh no, and then this is not. You'll be defending your character so much. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, to where you will not be productive. There was a point in my business where I wanted to make people feel, Marianne, I was this nice guy. I was spending more money on trying to make feel that I was a nice guy than running my own business, right? So don't fret when the attack comes personal. Put this down. That is a confirmation that you're on the right track. When people are throwing rocks at you on this rocky road, then you know, hey, I got somebody's attention, because before they wasn't throwing rocks. Last point I want to make before I get out of here. Is this good? Are you getting value out of this? I'm telling you, the last thing I want to say this real quick. It's such a powerful one. Finish what he started in you. Finish what he started in you. What I mean by that, whatever you do, when I say hold on to what's left, tie a knot in it, be true to what God has called you, your gift, talent, and ability. The last point, you want to finish. Nehemiah finished the work because he didn't get distracted. He didn't get pulled into friendly fire. You know how it is, gossip. You know, I always say this, Ruth Chris is not worried about what McDonald's is doing. Have you ever been to both of those? I've been to both of those establishments. I don't see Ruth Chris outside say, please don't go to McDonald's. Please don't go. I'm telling you, I'm the person that sells the best beef. You never will see it. You don't see McDonald's like, hey, I'm boycotting Ruth Chris. Do not go there. They can't compete with us. They stay in their lane. They have a following. They have a mission. And I want to tell you, listen, to be like that rock when the waves come over you on this rocky road, I'm so excited about your future. I'm excited about you embracing who you are. And listen, I want to tell you, you are not late, so don't rush your life. Love you, Marianne.
I love you. I love this. Do you all see why I love having him on here? Like, it's like, it's better than watching TV. It's better than watching like my favorite movie. It's just like, I'm like, oh, like this the whole time. It's just beautiful. Oh, look at this. And as usual, there's like 15 billion comments on Facebook. So for everyone here, if you write comments in here, it'll just be for us. But if you want to write a public comment, you have to go onto my Facebook page and then write it out there. But he has, you know, Dr. Oliver Reid always brings in the crowd, always reels them in. And I can see that you're not really feeling that great. And I want to thank you extra. And I just left you a message saying that. Thank you extra. I love it when my people show up. You know, this integrity, you know, you don't feel like it. I'm sure you'd rather just stay in bed and sit there and not feel good. And you still came on. So thank you extra for that. And thank you extra for everything. I don't even know, like there's so many nuggets in here. And I love the rock the whole time you're talking, and I'm thinking, how can I turn that into a book title? So for those people who are afraid of any version of I don't even understand the word competition. Competition is for fun games, but both Dr. Oliver Reid and I both have publishing companies. We're both speakers and we can still work together. So I don't, you know, whatever anyone has ideas, like people, oh, well, you know, you can't have another publisher. Yes, I can. I can do anything I want, fortunately for me. and my personality attitude. And I love it. I think we enhance each other. I don't think there's any level of competition, but I do want to say thank you extra to Dr. Oliver Reid for absolutely impacting everyone. Everyone who hears you and everyone who's about to hear you, because they couldn't make it. This is going to be on my Facebook page for pretty much ever. So please, if you've missed it, please go back and listen. All 6.5 hours of this is going to be amazing. And there's a perfect example. All of our speakers so far have been outstanding. And thank you once again to Dr. Oliver Reid.